Hello, everybody. It's Marty the JavaScript Party. It is a rare midweek late video. I'm making this at 3:30 in the afternoon on a Tuesday. I just freaking can't deal with work right now, so I'm just gonna do this. Try to get a mental break. So, anyways, yeah, I just figured it'd be really nice to get the unit tests done. So these unit tests have been sort of trying to get them squared away for like a couple weeks now, and we're very, very close. So it'll be nice to get that done and all that and not really think about work right now. But yeah, I just don't even know what to think. I just don't know what to think. So here we go. We got route value filter. That was what we built. We pulled this out, refactored so that route value filter would just get called. And then for the probably, I think the very first time ever, I was able to take the function, pull it out, bind it, and pass an um, additional parameter in, argument in, which none of this, like a lot of times code, the way code works kind of fits together for me. Like I kind of get, God, I love to code. This is the best part. And I would say that if you are a coder and you really enjoy coding, right? If you a software developer, you will always be at the very bottom of the totem pole. There's just no way around it. That's just the natural place for a software developer is the absolute lowest rung of the software development thing. And then somehow, at some point, senior developer became the very lowest rung because your job is to make sure that all the juniors and middling developers understand what they're doing. So not only that, not only does your boss get to kick you around, but so does so do all the juniors and the middlings too. You're just like a punching bag. I just said that out loud. Anyways, yeah, so for the first time, I figured this stuff out. And we have our record and we have our routing detail type. And all we have to do is pass it in so we can get coverage. And I think we have one other one down here, which should be very simple. I think menu change probably ended up being the same sort of thing. But so anyways, let's figure this out. We want to come in here and something that is quite challenging is always coming up with a good name. So it, and then Control Z, and then filters based on the router value. That's a good name. Filters based on the router value. Now, this is such a good name, I think. And I normally don't think about things like this. I just didn't even like notice it before, but like router value actually has two meanings, right? It's like the value in the router and also the name um of the argument. So the argument here is named router value. Yeah, I suspect I'm gonna have a lot more time to work on this in a couple weeks. And like I said, it's important that you have something good to work on when you're between jobs and stuff because it can be the actual problems that you work on, especially in an enterprise or in a large government situation, is those things are addictive. Like that's what I'm addicted to is the challenge, the problems. And it's very, very difficult to create that level of complexity and problems personally on an individual project. that's what this project does for me is like the problems in ThreeJS, Angular, trying to get those things to work together are delicious and um, and have put me in a place to really understand a lot of things. Um, and I just really like understanding things. I mean, that's just one of the things. So this returns a Boolean, and it is the result, match result is equal to, and then this is component dot route filter. And then it's kind of funny because like back in, I want to say it was like 1997. I was a systems engineer at Boeing and I was like very frustrated because like the developers would tell me, oh, that can't be done. And then I'd just find out that it could be done and all that. And I was like, you know what? I need to become a programmer, like a professional programmer, because that was an embedded system and embedded systems are just different than any. I'd been working like in Visual Basic and HTML and JavaScript. I'd never really worked in embedded systems. And it was kind of hard to get that working, right? Like I mean, it was hard to like when they would say that something worked a certain way to argue it because you just didn't know how to do it. So I'd always planned to become a systems engineer again. I was like, okay, I'm gonna work as a computer programmer for like 2 or 3 years, programmer for like 2 or 3 years, and then I'm gonna go back to being a systems engineer. It was because it was very obvious that like they just treat programmers like crap. I mean, that's just the nature of being a programmer, and they try. I mean, companies, they try really hard to, to create like an environment where they treat you with like dignity and respect, but they just can't because you just aren't. You are the bottom. You are the bottom, bottom, bottom. Even though you're very valuable and useful and you bring a lot of of good things to the environment. Um, you just can't. So const. So this we're probably just going to want to mock out an st entity table record, and then it's st. And it's hard right now because there just really is almost no work around, and it did take me a very long time to get um, even an interview. But what's really weird is it also took them forever to find somebody, right? Because there just aren't that many people anymore do um, that do this kind of thing. It's just like people just don't really like being computer programming anymore. Maybe it's as I thought it was as unknown. Oh, hmm, that needed to be capital. All right. So that was right, but we only need one thing. We only need one attribute. We just need the type. Type, and that is, we want this to be, I want to think entities, right? Because basically, oh wait, I think if it's entity, I think actually we want anything but entities. Now this doesn't really prevent it, but you actually can't have an entities type, I don't think. What are the choices here? Maybe it'll give it to me. Mm, okay, so if layout type is full here, so we would never get a blank. I'm thinking apply router. Oh, wait, maybe not. Okay. So crazy. Okay, so let's do this for the moment. It should complain. And that is not, so we want it to be, let's just make it an ST render, ST scene. ST dash scene. Now back to, because it's upset that there's like, it's not complete, which is one of the best things in all of of programming is of all of TypeScript is the fact that it what checks stuff like that for you. But like I said in unit tests, a lot of times, okay, so and then we want this to be st scene, so we expect it to be um to match to be true. And then router value. Route filter. Okay, what is the problem now? Route. Oh, value filter. It's saying, hey, that route filter could be. So now what we're hoping for, are we even running unit tests yet? I don't think we're running unit tests at npm run test. It's tough, because like it's funny because okay, so one of the interesting things. So I'm just waiting for unit test to start up, so I'm just gonna ramble a little bit. I guess we could do. Yeah, we already did this. Okay. Um, the it's tough because when you're young, like let's say you're 22 years old, right? You're 22 years old. You're on your day to day, like trying to get through life, trying to work your job and all that. Like your goal in life, for the most part, is to please and find a way to get along with and work with people older than you. That's like the the kind of the standard. And they can be hard to get along with because, they lived in a whole different sort of dynamic. Like I can't even begin to tell you how crazy different things are today than they were like in 1995. And so, you have this sort of situation where you have to please people that are older than you, but then you hit a certain age and like it reverses. Next thing you know, you're trying to please people younger than you, which at least you have a bit of advantage on because at least you got to live through the time that they lived through. Whereas when you're trying to please people that are older than you, you didn't get to live through their time. But still, it's hard. Um, all right. So that's that. Now, there is like, it's really easy, no matter what age you are, to feel like you're being ageist, like people are being ageism against you. I don't really think that's the truth. I think no matter what age you are, your age can be used against you, right? Like, so when people are evaluating you and they're like, oh, this would be a good employer, this wouldn't be a good employee, like, part of that calculation is the age. Now, it is bizarre how like, um, messed up people get. Because, like, let's say somebody was 100 years old and you hired them. They've been coding every day till they were 100 years old, and now you're hiring them. And the thing is you really need them to be around in a year, right? There's like something we need them to be working in a year. And then you hired somebody that was 22 right out of college. And like the odds are the guy with an 80-year track record of being a coder is more likely to be coding a year from now than somebody who's 22 years old. Um, but like our brains just don't function that way. So, we think, oh, we want to get the younger guy, but the younger guy probably won't, most people don't even stick with coding. Um, most people do it for a little while and then they stop. Um, but so menu changed. Handles menu changes. So we're so close to being done with this. As soon as I'm done with this, I'm going to go run. And then probably won't try to do anything with my job until tomorrow. We'll see what happens. I don't have a good feeling about it, but you know, it's just the way life is. And and I'm not gonna try to claim that I don't have any blame in all of this. I definitely have a lot of blame in what's the situation that I have found myself in. I definitely have a lot of blame in that. Um, but like I imagine the job is just going to be a lot less fun tomorrow. It's interesting. Menu change, detail type, but then we just set it to we pass in the detail type. Oh, and then we set the routing detail type. Oh, layout type to data because that's what this whole thing is data. And then okay, now and then it passes the routing layout detail type. Okay, yeah. So we set the routing detail type to data. Oh, then we pass data and the routing layout detail type. Okay, that makes a lot of sense. It's a little awkward. I'll definitely admit that it's a little awkward, but I think it's set routing detail. Um, but I do think that like it's not that bad to kind of figure out. So result. Did I? Oh, I didn't even. So we think this one should be true, right? Expect match result. And then the other thing that's really hard about this whole thing is like I know that like if I if am not at my job anymore, which like I don't even know how I'll ever find a better job than the job I have right now. They're really, really, really good. It's just sort of allowed it to become I've allowed it to become something that's just nasty. Um, this is a recurring thing in my life, right? I do this all the time. So like I know that I've freaking done this to myself. Uh, it's not my fault so much, as I was just like a crucial ingredient to allowing myself to be in this situation. Um, so it's just one of those things. It's kind of hard. But I think I've figured it out. You know what I mean? Like in the past, I've been in this exact same situation. Toggle row. Is it toggle row? No, it's menu changed. And then I think we pass it in our routing. And it's kind of hard because you kind of want to like dig in and like understand how set routing detail, all that works. But like really, this is not that time. This is not the time to be like thinking about like, okay, how does this all fit together from a large scale thing? This is more the time to figure out what happens on a line to line basis. Right. So I think we'll be at 100% now. And then we just need to create a small. No, we are not at 100%. What happened? Well, that's done. Oh, that's weird. So I thought we would be at 100. Okay. So, I don't know what the result is. So let's just say expect. Let's just finish this off, put a pin in this, and then we'll figure out. then I don't think it freaking, yeah, I don't know. I don't know what just happened there. So we're reloading. It's kind of funny they didn't give me that warning. It often will give you a warning saying, hey, dude, you're not allowed to do that. Okay, so now we have 100%. So that was weird, right? That was really weird. Because this showed 100, this showed that it was that all squared away, but all right. So that's good. All right, so we're at 100% on that. So all that is left and now, let's go to our README. All that's left now is, well, what's left now? I wouldn't say all that's left is number 5, Cypress end-to-end test for delete. So basically tomorrow, um, what'll happen is we are going to test entities, data entities, and then add viz, and then delete. And so actually, let's go back to our add viz, and then we'll go to, I know that I think the camera gets deleted. So we're going to go to camera, and then we're going to go to this view, then we're going to hit delete, and then we'll hit back. And you'll see the camera is gone, that the ST camera is gone. And that is going to be that test. Now, the failing test will be that ST render is still around, ST mesh is still around, which I thought that's what we did, but I guess not. Oh, it was seen that we did. ST geometry is still around, ST material is still around, and ST animation is still around. So that is that. Anyways, so that's cool. How long was this? 22 minutes. That wasn't bad. Um, Knocked it all out. I swear I'm so much faster at coding in the afternoon than I am. Usually, like I do these right before work, and it's just like I'm still the spider webs are still bouncing around. Anyways, happy coding, everybody. Bye.